Let's look at women and demographic change. So, changing social values and access to education, employment, healthcare, and contraception have reduced fertility rates in most parts of the world. As societies modernize and globalize, traditional gender roles and expectations regarding families, family size and structure, as well as childbearing often shift. For example, we see a shift towards promoting smaller families. We see an increased emphasis on individual pursuits, career aspirations, which comes about with increased female employment, as well as personal freedom, and that can lead to couples choosing smaller families or delay starting a family altogether. When you have more people becoming educated, more people working, more people seeking out career expansion, they're going to delay having marriage or focus on that over having children. Education provides individuals with opportunity for personal development, employment, and economic independence. It can influence decisions about family planning and the timing of childbearing. Women have a biological clock, so if they delay it, they're probably going to have less kids. Urbanization and industrialization have expanded opportunities for employment outside of agriculture, and this shift from rural to urban settings often reduces the economic incentives for larger families, as urban living is more expensive and requires both partners to participate in the workforce, and you typically don't need children to work in urban settings. In rural settings, before urbanization develops, families often have more kids to help out in the agriculture, to either put food on the table or to earn a living. So here we have the map of total fertility rates across the world. We can see that total fertility rates are higher in Central Asia and pretty much all of Africa, particularly Sub-Saharan and Central Africa. So here's that standard again. We see education, employment, healthcare, and contraception reducing fertility rates. So access to healthcare, particularly reproductive healthcare services and contraceptives, play a crucial role in the fertility rate and lowering the fertility rate. Increasing in these services allows time to delay pregnancy as well as a reduced fertility rate. Improved healthcare infrastructure and services allows individuals to make informed choices about their reproductive health, when to have kids, when to not have kids. Maybe it's not even safe to have kids for them, and that can lead to lower birth rates. Here we have majority rural, majority urban, a very simple map at a national scale of analysis. So we can see here that our more developed countries, particularly countries in stages 4 and higher, but a lot of stage 3 and some stage 2 countries have become majority urban. Most of the world is majority urban. Our rural countries are in South Asia, Southeast Asia, Eastern Africa, and I would say Central Africa and some parts of Sub-Saharan Africa. But if we look back at this map here, we can see that in areas that have higher total fertility rates, there are majority rural. So that's a correlation that we see here. Let's talk about Ravenstein's laws of migration. So most migrants only go a short distance. Think back to Unit 1 when we discussed distance decay. If you don't remember distance decay says the further away you are from a place, the less likely you are to interact with it. And in this case, the less likely you are to move there. Big cities attract long-distance migrants. If I'm from a small town in Georgia, I'm more likely to move to Charlotte or Atlanta over a small town in Oklahoma. There's more job opportunities in those cities. Most migration is from rural to urban. Most long-distance and international migrants are young adult males. If you are a family, you are less likely to move. If you are a woman, you are less likely to move internationally. Most migration is done in steps. It's not done all by once. Each migration flow produces a counterflow. And what does this mean exactly? So this law, the counterflow, isn't exactly perfect where you have 10 people move in, 10 people move out. But typically what you see is when you have people move into a city, people do inevitably move out. So this graph on the right, this map here, shows that a little bit. So we can see where the net movement is bringing in more migrants and where the net movement is bringing in more people leaving. In New England, northeastern United States, there's more people leaving that area. But in the South, we typically see more people entering those cities. The red shows them leaving, and then the blue shows more people entering. Now, even though New York's at a migration loss of 127,000 people, that doesn't mean that their population is decreasing by that numbers. For one, they have the birth rates, and two, they still have people moving to New York. It's just less people are moving to New York compared to people leaving. The gap left from an immigrant is filled by an immigrant. That is the theoretical textbook definition of that. Most migrants are adults. Families are less likely to make international moves. Families are more likely to stay domestic. Migration is most likely due to economic reasons with increases with economic development. So you're typically going to move somewhere with better economic development and opportunities, just like jobs. And that kind of goes back to the most migration is from rural to urban, because in urban areas there's typically more economic opportunities, more educational opportunities, healthcare, that sort of thing. So here we have a lot of data here, moving for money, how the economic climate has affected interstate migration. That prefix inter, I-N-T-E-R, means between. So we're looking between states. Why are people moving between states? Well, they're moving for more economic reasons. And we can see here the red states are where people are leaving, and then the green states are where people are coming into at greater rates. So people are moving out of that New England region where deindustrialization is occurring, where economic growth may be slowing, and they're moving down to the south where there's a lot of economic boom. There's also a lot of tourism here as well. And then you got some rural states in the south like Louisiana and Mississippi. There's not a lot there, not a lot of boom going on. So they're moving away as well. Particularly Texas is a big state right now. Florida's got a lot of New Englanders. I'm sure there's a lot of those in Texas as well. California, same thing. A lot of Californians are going to Texas as well. Just because there's a lot of business moving there. Elon Musk companies moving to Texas. That's a lot of jobs, a lot of economic growth and development and technological innovations. We can see that education levels may impact moving as well. As people with less than a high school degree are less likely to move. People with college degrees are more likely to move. I mean, look at individuals with income levels as well, and why they would move as well. People with higher income levels are less likely to move because they have the higher income level. If you will move somewhere that can give you more of an income. Look at education. So as women gain education and employment opportunities closer to their place of origin, where they are currently located, or within an urban center, the need for long-distance migration for economic reasons diminishes. So this map here on the right is of the Boston area. There are a lot of colleges and universities in the Boston area. So if you're from Massachusetts or New England or even from Boston, you're more likely to go to a school in Boston than a school in another state. From a rural area of Massachusetts, you're more likely to apply to schools in Boston than somewhere else, because you got Harvard and Tufts and Boston College and Boston University and the New England Institute of Art and Olin College and Curry College and Suffolk University. You have all of these institutions here with all kinds of different opportunities. There's closer education and closer economic opportunities. And of course, access to these opportunities particularly. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really does help me out, and it costs $0. I have some free resources for you in the description down below if you'd like to use them. If you have any AP Human Geography related questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below the video or send me a message on Discord. I'll see you guys in the next video though. Adios.